It is it's past 8 o'clock by a few minutes. Welcome to the Deep End. I'm your host, Alex Muller, and to be honest, sometimes when I'm watching a cop TV show, I root for the hostage to get killed. With me today is...
Udu-Smith.
Very nice to have you on. This has been a long time coming.
Yes.
I think Solomon may, other than the sort of designated 2 or 3 people who I ask every single week whenever someone drops out, because I think they might be available, I think you hold the record for most times I've asked you to come on. And now you're here.
I'm here. It's long awaited. I've been meaning to come for a good minute. It's just
Yeah.
the scheduling.
Yeah. I mean, the scheduling's kind of... to be fair, it's always been on a Sunday in the evening. I used to have it on at 7 o'clock. Now I have it at 8.
Yeah, it's a weird slot.
Yeah.
I've kind of pushed you right to the end of the week, but
Well, I chose it. I chose to be on a Sunday evening.
Okay.
Originally, 7 to 8 p.m. was my first choice, and I'm very thankful that I was able to get that. But due to circumstances outside of my control, it was decided that I can basically go fuck myself, and I'm gonna have to move my time slot. By the way, you've been told to move closer to your mic by one of the few people whose names I'm actually allowed to say, Ewan.
Oh yeah. Oh, you.
And that actually brings us to the fact that this is sort of the first episode I'm doing, which is kind of a bit of a sequel to a previous one.
Okay.
Because you, very famously, well, I don't know how good of a job you're doing, so I could be saying very infamously, you are a committee member for Model United Nations.
This is correct.
And previously we had a Mr. Ewan Barnett on the show, who told us a bit about that. But it's my understanding that you guys have been doing some interesting shit lately.
Yeah, so we went to the London International Model United Nations Conference, which is a very wordy term, but what it really is just a conference for Model United Nations, which hopefully your listeners know what that is.
Oh fuck! I just realised the mic wasn't the problem. It was me. I didn't turn your microphone on. That's
okay, I can hear myself now.
That's the first time oh my god! I'm so unprofessional. Anyway, thankfully you hadn't done that much talking yet, or if any at all. Your name is Solomon Udu-Smith.
Solomon Udu-Smith. I'm here. I'm live in the building. Saving the best till last. Long time awaited. Most infamous. Lyman, conference secretary for Sussex. I've got some other things going on. That's my introduction. I'll keeping it short and sweet. And now that you can all hear me.
Fuck. And normally I take pride in my professionalism. That's the first time I've ever... And I know a guy who had a show, and on his first show, the entire time he forgot to turn on the microphone.
The entire time?
The entire time. But I'm fairly certain that I did press the button. So I don't know if there was some sort of bug. Maybe I didn't press it hard enough and it didn't fully go on. I'm just going to pretend that it wasn't actually my fault and something else was going wrong with the studio, because, we started 5 minutes late anyway because my keycard stopped working. And my first thought is, they've got to me, they're trying to censor my show because it's just sometimes very bad. But no, it just turns out that the technology here sucks.
I was thinking it's interesting, that someone's out there trying to silence these voices. I won't say anymore, but... Yeah.
But anyway, so you do MUN.
Yes.
What is... You threw out a 5-letter acronym. That's a hell of an acronym. What the fuck is a Lyman?
So, a Lyman is the London International Conference. I think it's the second biggest conference in the world for Model UN.
I thought you were about to say what the acronym was, and then I was very confused when something with a C came out. That doesn't fit in Lyman.
Yeah, London International Model United Nations. That's the full name for Lyman. It's very wordy, but really it's just it's an international conference for MUN in London, in Westminster.
That's a famous place.
Very famous place. We had it in the opening ceremony was in the Central Hall, which is where the first...
What is that?
So that's a building in Westminster. It's got a famous chapel there, and it's also the first ever UN General Assembly meeting was held back in 1947 or 8.
Really?
I'm sure one of the listeners can throw in a correction there.
And I'm sure that I'm not going to check my phone for the rest of this. Because I remember, this is one of my gripes with the UN. I hate the effect that the United Nations has had on modern on architecture. I think it sucks. But I guess because I know that they purpose-built the United Nations building for the United Nations, as you might expect by the name. But yeah, I guess in the interim they would have needed a spot, and so Westminster makes a bit of sense.
Yeah, and it's a lovely space. And to be fair, I don't think they held many there. That was when they were adopting all the big shit. You know, the human rights and other such. There was a speech delivered there, which was the former UN Women Secretary. She was at the Lyman conference, and she was explaining that many of the important documents were made there, and surprisingly not by the big players you would have thought, but like countries like Liberia, Haiti, and other such places had a significant influence. It was a good weekend. I learned a lot.
Because I know the United Nations didn't let some people in for a while, and then some other countries just straight up didn't want to join. Like Switzerland didn't join until after 9/11, right?
Wow, shit! I did not know that. But I know colonization is very intertwined with the UN history. So there are many newly independent and soon to be independent countries that had some.
Switzerland joined the United Nations on September 10th, 2002, after a referendum held on March 3rd, 2002. And this was just a few months after 9/11. 9/11 big thing.
They had the referendum before 9/11?
No, they had the referendum on March 3rd, 2002.
Oh, okay.
Just a few months after 9/11.
Okay.
Big event 9/11, by the way, in case you haven't heard of it. But on the referendum on the 3rd March, only 55% of Swiss people voted in favour of joining the UN.
I respect they're trying to stay neutral. It's keeping to the.
Oh, actually, since 1948, though, until 2002, they held permanent observer status. So it's not like they weren't in the building. They were just kind of like, fuck you, we're not going to vote at all.
Yeah, that's interesting. Most countries, if you're gonna be there anyway, you might as well get involved. But I guess they were trying to really keep true to the neutrality thing, which was a lie. As we all know, they had Nazi gold. But anyway.
Well, they also had the other people's gold, so.
They had a finger in many of pies.
But anyway, what did you get up to at Lyman?
So, it was a 3-day event, so from the Friday through to the Sunday. I was in charge of the whole shabam, head delegate for Sussex, not in charge of Lyman. And also we're all, that doesn't really mean much. It just made me feel important. But so I technically oversaw.
Did you just get to be the first person to walk through the door?
Yeah, basically kind of gave people directions, and if any problems, which there never really are, they were directed towards me from within. And I gave some tips. People found me helpful. A bit of a figurehead. Of course, I was a prodigy once upon a time in MUN, and.
A prodigy when? 2 years ago?
Yeah, I would say 2. Even last year, I won head delegate twice in a row. There is a big smile on my face.
At Lyman you won head?
No. At Lyman I've only ever won once, and that was just an honourable mention, which was still pretty. I was in an expert committee, but I won the Sussex delegation top diplomat twice in a row.
Very nice.
This feels like I'm doing a lot of self-glazing.
No, to be fair, I used to glaze myself all the time on this show, mostly to do with how good my transitions are. Like, if we got off topic, I would find a way to get it back onto what we were talking about with such grace. But then I was criticised because someone said to me, it doesn't count how good your transitions are when you immediately mention afterwards that was a really good transition because you've just ruined the flow. So I've stopped doing that. I just take a mental note of it, and I will message people afterwards saying, at this timestamp, I was the greatest interviewer in the history of man.
You just gotta let it sit.
You do.
Let it sit. Let the people enjoy it, and those who know will know.
Yeah.
I guess it's like when rappers are freestyling. There's a crazy line in there. They can't stop and tell the room.
Fuck.
So
that wasn't great.
That's my comparison.
Yeah.
Was it you saying that's a poor comparison?
No, I'm saying that when a rapper makes one of those really questionable bars. It's you sort of, it takes you out of the flow. You sort of lose your enthusiasm for them in that moment.
Yeah.
I can't come up with any examples off the top of my head. Normally when I think of questionable bars, I think of that one song called I Wish. No, not I Wish. I Wish is the one by Skilo where he wants to be a little bit taller and a baller.
Yeah, I wish I was a baller. Not gonna say
I think is it I Hope? Or there's some song where a guy, I hope you crash. Oh, yeah, it's called I Hope. Just a different song called I Hope. Where one of the lyrics is, I hope you, and this is not PG, but one of the final sets of lyrics is, I hope, bitch, I hope you crash headfirst into a bus full of retarded children and your car catch on fire from the fluid from the power steering. Now, I have been informed that...
That is not Solomon Udu-Smith endorsed.
It's not endorsed by me either, but mainly because from what I've been told, the fluid from the power steering is not flammable.
Now, who's been telling you about the fluid in the power steering?
The comments on this song are saying, like, look, I appreciate the level of hatred, but at the same time, like, what the fuck? You know, maybe windshield wiper fluid is, I doubt that's flammable. The oil in your car is flammable, the gasoline is flammable, but I guess not the fluid from the power steering. Anyway, we're already a quarter of the way through the official allotted runtime, and we haven't really got into anything other than MUN. Why don't you tell it? Normally I do this at the start, but why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah.
Who you are? What do you do? Where did you come from? Where did you go? And what is your relationship with Cotton Eye Joe?
So, well, sadly, I don't know the Cotton Eye Joe. Cotton Eye Joe knows me. We've bust a couple moves together, but I don't. Not off the top of my head. But no, who am I? So I'm Solomon. I'm from Brighton, born and bred, a local resident. I moved out of here when I was 10, but you know, I've still got my connections. My nan still lives here. And then I moved to Bexhill, which no one ever knows, so I say Hastings. Which
I don't know where Hastings is.
Say also no one ever knows.
There was a battle there, wasn't there?
Yeah, quite a famous one, 1066. Kind of battle for the soul of the nation. And that was, since then we've been dominated by the French. It's kind of explained a lot of the downfalls.
I would have figured the battle of the soul for the nation would have been Oasis versus the Spice Girls.
Was that ever... See, I'm not... For the listeners, I'm a mixed race man. I don't involve myself in these kind of white people things. So I'm not aware there was a battle going down there. But so I like Oasis. We like is it Liam Gallagher? He pops up every so often.
Well, there's two of them. I know that one of them's a prick and one of them's slightly less of a prick.
Yeah, but I
allegedly
feel like they're both, you know, two peas of the same pod. Is that what
I mean, they are brothers, to be fair. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't really have a preference. It's not really like the Beatles, where everybody has a favourite Beatle.
Do you have a favourite? Who's your favourite Beatle?
Ringo.
Okay.
Because the others were all a bit fucked up, a bit more so than he was, and also Ringo. Really, I don't give a shit about music, but Ringo was the narrator for Thomas the Tank Engine.
I feel like that's a terrible reason to pick your favourite Beatle. But
it's not like I care particularly about any of their music. You know, I can name about 10 songs, right?
Yeah, but all right, can you name 10 Thomas the Tank Engine episodes?
No.
No, exactly.
No.
So really, you should be holding.
I mean, but at least my
favourite
favourite Beatle isn't Paul. In fact,
speaking of Paul, he's, you know, you were trying to hear about my background. His son went to my college.
Paul McCartney. Oh, I meant to say John, as in John Lennon.
Oh no, I love. This is
I don't like John
this
Lennon.
Is my unpopular take. I'm a fan. I like John Lennon. I think
Is he your favourite Beatle?
He probably is. I think he had a more interesting life than the rest of them. Although, to be fair, on International Women's Day, I feel like it's probably wrong to like John Lennon.
Wasn't that yesterday?
No, that's today.
Really?
Shout out to all the women listening. How many listeners do you get?
Normally I get about, at a given point in time, I'll get people live, I'll get 5.
Okay, that's...
But I used to get solid views on my YouTube channel.
Okay, there's probably a woman listening out there.
My mum, mostly.
Your mum. My girlfriend's probably, hopefully she's tuning in. So yeah, International Women's Day, shout out to them. But Yeah, no, I'd say John Lennon. I don't know. I like a few of his. I like some of his solo work. I think him and Paul McCartney were really the brains behind the opera. I don't know enough. That's probably gonna get me cancelled.
Yeah.
I think too many people hate Yoko Ono. I think she's quite funny. Maybe not. She's aware she is, but she's funny to watch. And I don't think she broke up the Beatles. I think
That was going to happen anyway.
yeah, exactly. There was too many egos.
Yeah.
Too much money involved. Let's not, you know what I mean? Kind of blaming it on a... I'm taking a feminist stance for International Women's Day. I think they're trying to blame it on a woman.
So for today, John Lennon is not your favourite Beatle?
Today, John Lennon is not my favourite Beatle, and Yoko Ono is the best thing to ever have any relationship with the Beatles. That's...
Other than Thomas the Tank Engine.
Other than Thomas the Tank Engine.
You know, let's not be hasty. Yeah, you know. Anyway, what is it that you study?
So I study. I'm a student of politics and international relations. Now, me and Alex actually shared a course in our first year. That's how we met, in international relations. But he was too right wing for the course.
What?
All this talk about colonialism got him uncomfortable in his own skin.
My gripe, and we did an entire episode about this with the course, is that we spent less time talking about international relations and more time talking about the study of international relations. I'm like, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I hear that.
Like, I remember we had a whole thing talking about trying to find alternative perspectives to the standard Eurocentrism of the field of international relations. And I was like, okay, give me the perspective, please. And they never would. They would just spend... It wasn't anti-colonialism, it felt like performative anti-colonialism. And that I'm not a fan of. So,
yeah,
if you're going to take a stand, take a stand.
First year was a lot of like... Yeah, it dragged a bit. But I guess it's built on those kind of foundations. Because now, like, we can... you can do a module and they don't spend any time at all laying out kind of the ideological... threads beforehand, and you can just kind of just take whatever theoretical framework you want to analyze it all with, or even with the text and the rest. Like, it's kind of not everything needs to be pointed out. So I'm definitely enjoying, like, post first year IR significantly better than politics.
I guess I'm sort of because you do both international relations and politics, right?
So it means I kind of get the best of IR, and apparently I get the best of politics, but it certainly doesn't feel like it.
Really, what's wrong with the politics module?
No, you know what? That was mean. It's just the IR is a lot more. It's a mixture of kind of history, and you can bring a lot of your own kind of views on the world. And you can kind of sit there, study the stuff, and kind of build your own analysis based off the information there. Whereas with politics, it can feel a lot more sciencey, almost. Like, there is it still of course exists in the humanities, but I don't know, there just seems to sometimes be a more of a
political science stuff.
Yeah, like, it's less of an analysis through like my
policy and more an analysis of voting trends.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's about looking at patterns and the rest, and that's still definitely interesting. But it does sometimes. But maybe that's just
I'd say for me that would
course,
be pretty interesting.
The courses I've picked. Yeah, I mean, it like, it's cool, but I don't know, that looking into the history of kind of where we are now and all the rest, that's definitely a lot more IR side. And
But you're now third year.
Yes.
As I would have been had I not switched courses. But to be fair, I certainly enjoy, as much as the law modules I've had aren't super great. They're sort of solid 6 out of 10. Next year I finally get to pick my own modules I got to pick one module this year, and the module's been good. But next year I finally get to actually not quite go all in on my own stuff, but I get to at least do my own Paul McCartney's Wings, so to speak. I don't know why the Beatles keep coming up. But I'm like, for example, I'm studying internet law next year. So that's gonna be good. But you, third year, which means you are very few months away from having to become, and some of my listeners might want to cover their ears, employed.
Oh no, don't worry. I'm not. I'm still far away from that.
Are you doing a master's?
That is the plan, is to kind of take. I never did a gap year, and I'm finishing. When I graduate, I'm gonna be 20 years old. I'm just gonna take a year off.
When you graduate, you're gonna be what?
20 years old. I turned 21 in July, so maybe I'll be 21.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm an 05.
Yeah, graduation is in July.
Okay, well I'm on the 10th, so it's going to be a close one. It could be on my birthday for all I know. There's definitely the real answers out there, but we don't need to care for them.
It's from the 20th to the 24th of July.
Okay, so I'm going to be freshly 21. My aim is to kind of
blow up and act like you don't know nobody.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to stay. Plans to stay in Brighton. I've already got housing and the rest sorted out. Living with my nan, which would be interesting. Which would be nice. My family have moved up to Hull, that could be a whole conversation on its own. But I'm choosing to stay down here in Brighton with my nan, and yeah, perhaps work a bit in Brighton, go a bit travelling. I want to get a bit more involved in local politics. And then I think next year, go do a master's, maybe a master's and a PGCE. You can do them as a joint course.
What is a PGCE for those of us, including myself, who don't know?
That gives you the qualification to teach in higher education. So I wouldn't be able to teach in a primary school, but teach in a secondary school, or you don't need a PGCE to teach in college, but to also teach, I guess it gives you a leg up on it.
So you want to go into academia potentially?
Yeah, I mean, not to not to like a uni standard. Like I wouldn't be researching stuff, just teaching of. I'd like to stay in the humanities area.
Don't you have to do research if you want to become a lecturer at university? You have you have to publish a certain amount per year.
Oh yeah. No. That's what I'm saying. PGCE, higher education, as in like secondary schools, like high school.
Oh, I thought you meant like as in college. Uni.
No. So that would be that would be too much of a headache for me. But I could do it happily. I'd love to do a master's and a PGCE. The master's is also just because I enjoy being at uni. I enjoy learning on the subjects I care about. So
what would you teach if you went to secondary school?
Most likely history. Seems like the easiest one to jump over in. I was having a look at some stuff. Yeah, I could go into history or geography would be the easiest one, or I could, if I was at a private school, I would teach politics at a private school. But that also means being at a private school, so it comes with its
I feel like it depends on the private school whether or not that's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. But it also, from my understanding, the parents can be overly involved in. I don't know. I don't want to diss the private school. We have quite a large private school contingency here at Sussex. Shout out Alex the host. Shout out probably half the list, half my friends, man.
Probably if I had to take a guess, at least, at minimum 3 people who've been on my show, I think. Maybe more than that, perhaps. Actually,
so even my appearance on this show is breaking the glass ceiling, folks. So round of applause for that. You
are the 4 people who have been on my show went to a private school,
including you.
I don't count.
Okay,
because I'm here every week. They've tried to get rid of me. They haven't been able to. In fact, I'm actually doing very well for myself. I haven't been nominated, but my nomination has been suggested for Radio Show of the Year.
Oh, well done.
Mainly suggested by me, but
hopefully they don't get you mixed up with the other 7 million podcasts or radio shows of the same name, which I found out when I was looking at today's schedule. Because
this is radio show at the university level.
I'm talking
here.
Sussex. There's like 3 other things here that use the deep in their bloody name.
Really?
Someone else is called the plunge or something. No, that's your wording. Don't worry. No one's
that's me when I was. They asked me to hit a character count. I've the amount of arguments I've gotten into with the people who run the show. Okay, so there's a show called That's Deep.
Yep.
There's a show called Deeply Cut.
Yep.
There's my show.
Yep.
There's a show called The Dive.
Yep.
Gee,
do you see what I'm saying? There's more than you would think. Also, sorry, just to call out anyone who is listening in who has a show themselves, please use capital letters when you're writing out the name of your show.
Okay.
You're not cool. 2
of those 3 shows, Deeply Cut and The Dive, were established after mine.
Okay, so you can take the win on that. You've also even got Atlas to Interzone. That's taken in kind of the water theme. It's very, very water focused over here.
Yeah, I mean, my entire, when I made the graphics for my show, it's very nautical, I guess. I've got a giant squid, I've got an anchor. Basically, any sort of clip art I could find on Google that was in one colour so that I could change it in Google Drawings without having to put it in Photoshop. Shout out Google Drawings, by the way.
Shout out Google Drawings. Shout out...
whoever develops that, fuck yeah, you're amazing.
No, I'm with that. I feel like in this world, anything that isn't completely AI assisted, shout out that.
Yeah.
If you still have to use your brain to draw.
And people who pump out AI content on social media make my top 10 list, in fact, of worst groups of people.
Ooh, yeah, no, I'd have them up in the top 10 definitely, alongside slow walkers, Nazis.
My top 10 list is very niche and very specific. I'll read. I happen to have it in front of me. Group number 10, people who use the word summer as a verb. Like people like, oh, do you summer in Milan or do you summer on the Riviera? You know,
I think you can just put general people who kind of go on skiing trips in with those people.
That's most of my friends though.
Okay, we'll be nice.
Group number 9 is people whose favourite Beatle is John Lennon. Group number 8 is people who are still fans of Rick and Morty.
That's still it's interesting. You've clearly put still there as a self cop out.
No, because
picking up on that.
When the first season of the show was good, and then they started to get too self-referential and too big for that. They started they tried to be deep.
I don't know, man. Just stand on your shit. Just say anyone who's a fan of Rick and Morty, get in the top. You know, personally, I don't even have any beef with them. But I feel like if you're gonna stand on it, stand on it. You know, no dependencies.
I am standing on it by saying that it's only really the later seasons when they tried to become like the Simpsons, I guess, in the sense that they've got like some lore or shit. I like, fuck that. Just do a show. Have a gimmick. Have a villain of the week that you fight or whatever. Have a weird. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I see where you're coming from, but I did enjoy watching BoJack Horseman, so I feel
that's a good show.
I don't know, but does that? But
that's because no, that show was designed around that. Rick and Morty, they decided that they wanted to do that after the fact.
Right, it became too self-aware.
Okay. And the writers weren't equipped to handle that.
Right.
You know, either you...
he was too busy sexually assaulting women, is my understanding.
Allegedly. I don't know anything about that. Group number 7. I think you might have knocked your cable out. Yeah.
This one? Are we good? No.
I'm not sure. Well, that seems better, as long as we don't... yeah, sounds good. Maybe? Hey, wait, group number...
Can you hear that humming in the background?
Very slightly, hold on. Now it's gone. So I think just don't move very much. Like you're in a dinosaur movie.
Okay. I'm black, so I would probably die first.
Sam Jackson didn't die.
Did
he die in that film?
Let's get that. You need a guy to get stuff up. You need your own Jamie, as Joe Rogan would have. We need like a guy in the corner just with a laptop.
Yeah.
Put him on a sneako chair, you know, and you can kind of get the facts up at ease.
He does.
Okay,
oh, see? He dies off screen as well. Wow.
See, they don't even honor us with.
To be fair, I feel like actually no. I remember his death. It was good that they did it off screen.
Okay.
Because you're thinking that he's in the middle of doing something, then suddenly you see his arm, his severed arm, and you're like, oh shit. Whoa. I didn't even know that he was dead.
Discussing, you know, films absolutely, you know, kind of being the cause of harm for black people. I think we can go into our next topic.
And once I finish, I've still got 7 groups of people.
That was a fake transition.
Yeah, I've still got 7 people. I've still got 7 groups of people left to go through, and then afterwards we will get into that because that is a very current. Is it very current? No, it was like a month ago at this point, but still, it's very important to discuss. Anyway, group number 7, Premier League set piece coaches. Group number 6, people who go to Halloween parties as an animal when really they're just wearing a headband.
Okay, so you can be an animal, but just put more in than just
put a bit more effort into it.
What about like
if it's just a headband and like you put a bit of face paint on? Like depends on the amount of face paint.
Okay, no,
if
that's
it's a couple,
fair.
if it's 2 or 3 lines, then go fuck yourself.
What'd you guys last year for Halloween?
What did I go? Top Gun.
Yes. I went as Charlie Kirk.
Jesus. Group number 5, people who do their big family goodbyes at the airport directly in front of the security line.
I think directly in front of me is
Yeah, wherever the hell I am, move. Group number 4, Dubai influencers.
Yeah, well, they're finally eating shit. So
Well, they've been eating shit for quite a while.
that is true.
In the literal sense.
Just Iran's now serving it out.
Yeah.
But I won't say anything more on that.
Group number 3, people who enter those park lookalike contests in New York City who really shouldn't be. It's like, you know that you see those videos where it's like such and such contest lookalike, and it's a bunch of people who don't look anything like that person.
I hear it, but I don't know. I feel like
So you should be a bit more realistic.
as a mixed race man, you know, there is a lack of lookalike competitions for mixed race people. If there's a white person one, would I show up? Maybe.
Depends on the white person, though.
That's true. It's a vibe thing. I feel like that's an important.
Like-
I feel like some people as well. They think they look like someone, but it's like
Exactly. Like
you
if,
don't act like them. You know, just because you look like Timothy Chalamet, if you're walking around maybe acting like a twink,
well, the
you're
point.
not, you're not really giving Timothy Chalamet.
Well, the point is, it's a look-alike contest.
That is true, but it
But
is also a
but
vibe.
part of it is the vibe. But let's just say, like, you wouldn't turn up to, let's say, a Christopher Walken look-alike contest.
No, that's true. I
You
might
know.
I might shout out to Christopher Crawlin.
I don't know who that is.
That was a play on words about me crawling, I guess.
Oh, fucking Jesus. Anyway, group number 2, people who make AI slop for social media.
Yep.
And finally, the worst people in the world are people who comment the date that they're listening to a song on YouTube. Get a life. Touch grass, you fucking bum. Look.
No, and alongside those, the ones who go into the comment sections and they put this is a song with no tattoos, no swear words, and no naked women. This is real music.
I feel like I've never seen that before.
On any rap song that doesn't directly like mention gang violence.
Well, I don't listen to
something.
Will Smith, so I'm
I
not,
also
I'm
son
not
of a
really
bugger.
familiar.
I don't look. When I was in year 10, I was going through a phase. I thought I
Of
was
listening
cool.
to Will
I was
Smith.
the opposite of cool. No, sadly worse. I was listening to a man called NF. Some
Never
might
even-
know NF and Joyner Lucas. It was a sad time in my life.
Joyner
And-
Lucas, I
and
feel like I've heard the
even
name
then,
before.
I was self-aware enough to know that the cringe comments of "no swear words, this is real rap" were embarrassing. But now looking back, I was an embarrassment for ever turning on NF or Joyner Lucas. Joyner Lucas has a song called "I'm Not Racist" for any of the listeners who really want to kind of get involved, and it is some of the
I
worst.
think, is that the one where it's the big white guy who looks like... Yes,
It's
I've
some
seen
of
that
the
one.
worst anti-racist slop I've ever kind of seen produced personally.
I heard it like a decade ago when it came out, and then since then I've never thought about it a single other time.
No, nor have I for the most part. Every so often I remember that I used to enjoy John. He also had a song with Logic. It's called ISIS.
Like the Islamic State, or like the Shane Gillis Toyota skit?
No, like the Islamic State. But I mean, fair enough if you can do something fun.
So
with
basically, anti-racist slop, get it out of here.
it. Anti-racist slop. Yeah, I mean, all slop, any slop can go.
But speaking of racism, that wasn't my best work, to be honest. I had it there, and then you started to get into like further bad shit that he's done. I'm like, fuck, that was my window of opportunity, and it's just gone now. Speaking of racism, or alleged racism, or discussions about racism, recently at the BAFTAs, which for those of you who only care about the really significant award shows, are the British Academy Film Awards. It's not a film award show because they have television and also video games. It's not British because they're not honouring British film. So, what the fuck? Anyway, one of the big films from this year to go to the BAFTAs was a film about Tourette's.
You called I Swear. What was the name of the movie?
Yes. For some reason, I pulled up the page for best film rather than the page for best actor. Because I assumed it would have been... Because that was further up on the Wikipedia page. Anyway, yeah, a film about Tourette's. So, it was based on a real guy. The film.
John Richardson.
So, as is... Well, I don't know if it's really standard practice. If you're basing a film on a guy, to bring that guy there. I don't think they brought Richard Jewell to the Oscars.
That's true. I don't think they brought...
I don't think they brought the guy who Will Smith plays in that movie Serena Williams' dad. I don't think they brought him to the Oscars.
Is he still kicking?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he must be.
Alex, pull that up. Her father, Richard Williams, is still alive.
All right.
Yeah.
Good for him. Seeing your
Good for
daughters
him
ball
for
out
not
and
being
now-
dead.
Yeah, I mean, his daughters ball out, and now he gets to see his one of his daughters deep in on the Manjaro, I believe, which is a shame.
What?
Serena Williams, after finishing, and kind of being well known as the greatest tennis player of all time in terms of kind of success and domination. You can at least at minimum argue.
Yeah.
She now gets up to posting Instagram ads for weight loss drugs.
Also, Serena Williams, didn't she at the Super Bowl that one time do a crip walk during the Kendrick Lamar thing, even though one of her siblings died due to gang violence?
Yeah, but that's a really that's just like that's just
I
like,
think specifically from the Crips as well.
Yeah, but that's crip walk is not like something only. It's just a dance move that kind of got taken a long time ago for gang culture. I would say in any way the crip walk is a celebration of gang culture. You could probably whip up a video right now of a bunch of people in as bloods or in red bandanas doing crip walks. I believe in Paris.
The crip walk originated specifically for the gang.
Yeah, but lots of things have originated. You don't drink fucking alcohol and kind of think, oh, we're celebrating the hobos who made moonshine. Lots of things have originated from stupid places, but I wouldn't say they still glorify where they came from.
Yeah.
Which brings us on to the N-word itself.
Yeah, so argue. The incident was Michael B. Jordan and someone else. Delroy Lindo, that's his name.
Yes.
They were presenting an award, and the man with Tourette's, who was in the audience, blurted out, or I guess yelled,
the N-word.
The N-word.
Yeah, well, do you want to kind of hear my first initial reactions?
Yeah, what was your initial reaction to that?
My initial reaction, first I worried that you had actually made your way to the award show, and this was kind of like a weird advertising thing for your podcast. If I shouted the N-word on at the stage, I don't know. So I was relieved.
Apparently he did it multiple times actually as well.
Yeah,
should say that, except the second one was edited out.
Yeah, so in terms of initial reactions, you're like, whoa, and then you hear the context and you hear about him.
It's a guy with Tourette's.
Yeah, and you're like, cool. But I feel like the more I've learned, the more I kind of think the BBC hold a big role to play in this. The fact that they televised it after, especially when they made editing decisions to remove homophobic slur he said towards someone out. It said towards Alan Cummins, and also they decided to move a speech against ICE and a speech saying Free Palestine. If you're going to show that level of kind of editing, where you remove political speech and also you edit out some of that guy's own outbursts, why you wouldn't remove the rest, I don't know. And even John Richardson himself said that they decided to put a microphone quite close to him, and he had already
Jesus Christ.
He said when he sat down, he knew this was going to end terribly, and he himself left early. But no, I feel like I definitely saw some stuff out there that was rather horrible to me. But I also do feel like for Michael B. Jordan, for Delroy Lindo, at the end of the day, you are you're on stage celebrating your excellence, and you are still hearing someone call you the N-word. Now, of course, with all the given context and the rest,
considering the context that they didn't know there was a guy with Tourette's in the audience.
Exactly.
Apparently, the people near him were told beforehand, "Hey, there's a guy with Tourette's here."
But it wasn't.
But I guess
it was only after the event that they then announced it to the audience as a whole.
It's there's a guy with Tourette's here.
So, which is just if you're on stage, so. I feel like they were massively...
as much as I am an advocate for... not an advocate. As much as I support people with disabilities, I feel like with something like Tourette's, it's an award show. I feel like there should be... Not necessarily you should be telling everyone, hey, sorry, I'm here with... But the organisers should be saying, hey, in case something happens. I feel like it's good practice.
I feel like that's kind of the main issue here, that the duty of care wasn't acted upon, and that duty of care was owed both to the people winning awards and watching, and also of course the disabled man himself. He's there, and also you got to remember, this is not like some celeb, this is not like a rich man. They've made a movie about his life.
But it was a
he's
British movie.
Yeah, it's a British movie. The guy works full time. The movie was just made because he was an activist, and it's an important and really good movie. People should go watch it. But the guy himself is not rich. I'm pretty sure he's gone back to work after this.
Yeah.
He's not like he's come from some real privilege thing. He doesn't even know that other people there. Like, even when he tried to phone Delroy Lindo to apologise to Michael B. Jordan, he had to like get in contact with the studio first because he doesn't have these people's phone numbers.
Oh yeah.
So I just feel like at the end of the day, the way he reacted was fair enough. You know, it's on what you got to try and weigh this thing of. Obviously, you didn't do it on purpose, but yeah, you still want to apologise for offence.
Yeah.
Same way, I don't know, if you catch someone's foot, it doesn't mean you were trying to step on their toes, but you might still apologise. But it's a slightly different conversation with it, of course, being completely involuntary. But I feel like the biggest fuck ups were definitely on
The biggest fuck ups were definitely on
the BAFTAs
on the BBC. However, very recently, afterwards, it's sort of a side, not the awards show itself is a sideshow, but the discussion, this particular discussion at this other award show, the NAACP Image Awards,
Yes.
relative to the BBC's fuck up is it's a side conversation, but at that particular awards show, given the context that it's an African American award show, there were some particular comments made, including one by one of the main hosts of the event, Dion Cole, who was standing up solo, wasn't presenting an award, he was just, doing host stuff.
A bit of a stand-up.
Yeah. And not in the Joe Coy sense where it's just really bad, more in the sort of... I guess I don't know anything about it, I don't know if he's a comedian, but one thing that he said was, quote, "If there are any white men in the room with Tourette's, I advise you to tell them to read the room, Lord. It might not go the way they thinketh." Now,
Yeah.
depending on the context, I haven't listened, I've only seen it, but I haven't listened to the way that he's saying it. But depending on the context, and considering the amount of abuse that the guy with Tourette's has gotten, it seems a little bit... I understand that, you and your community are hurting because of what has happened, but it does seem a little bit in poor taste to be making fun of a dude with disabilities.
Yeah, no, I feel that's why I laughed. It was like...
And then Saturday Night Live, the, really shell of a formerly successful TV show that they are, I fucking hate SNL. I think that their stuff sucks. I've thought that their stuff sucks for a while. They have one good skit every 2 years, and we're supposed to act like they're still they're a cultural behemoth because culture has ended, and unfortunately we can't move on from what existed in the 80s and 90s.
Post irony, I think, at this point. So nothing's funny, and somehow or another everything's funny.
Nothing is new. We can't have new stuff enter the cultural zeitgeist.
We have to constantly pull back some shit that wasn't even funny in the first place. And then because we've refried it 7 times, it's now funny.
SNL was funny but SNL wasn't as funny as people thought. But that's more due to the format, and that's very difficult to pull off a live sketch comedy show.
I mean, on SNL, like, it's gone through its ups and its downs. Yeah, obviously everyone always talks about, like,
they famously
and the rest, but they also had that weirdo off Community. I can't remember.
Chevy Chase.
Yeah, he was apparently a dickhead when he worked there as well. Well, I just mean on my thing about like things not being funny in the first place. Like a lot of like this kind of ironic culture. Even if you think about like 6, 7 or whatnot, no one even found it funny the first time. But then on the 8th time, it's somehow more funny.
I guess, yeah.
Kind of all that Morbius crap. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it
Jesus.
was, but some of it was just never funny.
I have a Morbius T-shirt.
But you rerun it 8, 9 times, and then on the 9th time, it's like, actually, maybe it was funny.
Kind of like how Sony reran Morbius in theaters because they thought people... I loved how...
And they nearly got him again.
I love how they put it out for a weekend again, and then everybody... There was so many tweets like... I think there was a whole Onion article as well, which is another example of an institution that used to be funny. But they had an Onion article saying, "Please, Sony, bring Morbius back one more time. I swear we were all just busy that weekend." But back to SNL. They made a sketch which was a fake PSA, about where a bunch of Hollywood celebrities come out and say, "Actually, I've had Tourette's this whole time." Now, I get the joke that they're trying to go for.
Yeah, like a PR thing, save your name from being cancelled, blah, blah, blah.
But at the same time, again, considering that this was like a week after the BAFTAs, it seems a little bit also in poor taste.
Yeah, this is the thing, right? And I will also
like they compared the Tourette's activist to in the sketch, they have people acting as Bill Cosby, Mel Gibson, Armie Hammer. Like, it feels like it seems not great to be comparing all of those people to a man with Tourette's who's an advocate for disabilities.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, well, you mentioned The Onion being bad. I will also say, like, I feel like they had I didn't even see it, but I'm sure they had a much more normal response to this stuff. So I will shout out The Onion. I'm still a fan. But yeah, with SNL, with what happened at the NAACP Awards, it's kind of that thing of, it's like it's just all in very poor taste. And at the end of the day, what I was saying before about this person not being a celeb, he's not in these circles.
Yeah.
And they're making fun. It's a whole nother level of kind of, it's embarrassing, but also it's in poor taste of the people who were on stage and got called the N-word to then jump on SNL and all the rest and kind of make this joke. And it's a whole nother thing with the SNL skit if that was just a skit that happened, but to do it directly after with this, it just seems extra rude. And also with the NAACP Awards, I mean, that whole thing is about kind of being for equality. And it's one thing to kind of, you know, take the piss out of a disabled guy. But also, I don't know, it's just the whole general thing of the NAACP Awards is kind of BS. You know, it costs you £5,000 to have a seat there. If you got nominated for an award, but you weren't kind of one of the main people. If you got nominated for a VVX award or whatever the hell they call it, or like a
visual effects,
exactly, or some crap like that, like you're someone a bit more background, to be there at the show, you have to pay $5,000, and you're not allowed to walk the carpet. The only people allowed to walk the carpet are kind of the main actors, and they get free tickets. Now I don't even care about the walking the carpet bit, but why are you making someone pay $5,000 to go to a show to get an award that they got nominated for, when your whole thing is about like improving minority voices? And then when you've paid $5,000 to get in there, you watch a bit of stand up of this guy just dissing, like using a black actor being called the N-word as the butt of a joke because the guy who said the N-word had Tourette's, and the joke is, oh, you can't have had Tourette. Like, the whole thing is just, it's kind of just, everything must be made fun of. Nothing can just exist. You can look at it from, I mean, it's a big stretch, but even like with the Epstein stuff, some of the stuff that gets said, I understand it's jokes to be made, but it's like, kids were like sexually abused, and then the whole thing is just like a memification, and it's all a big laugh, and oh, let's go to Jeffrey Epstein's island. Like, let's jump on a stage and make fun of some guy with Tourette's, because everything has to be funny. And sometimes it's like we can pause and we can just understand there's like nuance. Not to be the most ironic IR student ever, because I realise that's probably, I think I've heard that in a seminar every day for the last 3 years. But I don't know, not everything needs to be taken a piss out of. Sometimes things happen and they're not good that they happen, and no one's even at fault. But also, no one needs to have the finger pointed at them.
Yeah, like obviously, in certain times and with certain topics, comedy is an important, I guess, healing mechanism to get people to not wallow in their own misery. But when the comedy is at the expense of someone who doesn't deserve to have the piss taken out of them in such a very public light, or in such a very public space, that feels wrong to me. Yeah,
exactly. And also, it's just not funny. Like, when it's funny, you're gonna get the laughs. Sometimes you laugh at things, so you can think afterwards, but some of this stuff just isn't. It's not funny enough for the fact that you're making fun of a guy with Tourette's. And it's not even that you're making fun of the topic, but it's that he is the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
So why am I?
Like, by all means, make fun of the BBC for being stupid.
Make fun of the situation. If the butt of the joke is really just some disabled guy, I feel like you've kind of got lost. And I feel like that about so many jokes. Even if you're talking about racism or trans people or whatever else, like, you can joke about whatever you want, but it's just a bit boring to kind of make whoever's already kind of the victim in the real world the victim in your joke. And if you can do it in a way that does work, then fair enough. I'm not saying that's not a blanket statement, but just like often, kind of a rule for comedy is if you're punching down, it's not going to be that funny.
Yeah.
That's my view at least. If the butt of the joke is you punching down, it can,
I guess depending on the circumstance.
Yeah, no, there is always, context. But I feel like if you think of the funniest shit you've heard, rarely are they kind of just taking the piss out of, I don't know.
Like malicious. It's really malicious.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, malice is the sort of key. If you're telling a joke with malice, like that guy at the NAACP Image Awards, that there's a hell of a difference between that and normal, actual funny comedy. You're telling. There was I think the guy Norm Macdonald said once, if you're doing stand up to get applause instead of getting laughs, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, well, I would agree, and I would say that applies to a worrying amount of current. I think Ricky Gervais is like number one victim of that.
He's just fucking.
He goes. I mean, his crowds are kind of just circle jerks. My parents aren't as in touch with what's kind of with like who's in and who's out, and they went to one of his comedy shows, and they said the whole thing was. They said he told a joke about something, and then he made a joke about getting cancelled for that joke, and then he made a 15-minute bit kind of around cancel culture, but everyone was clapping and no one was laughing.
Yeah.
And my mum was just like, it's not there to just listen to a speech.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle does that. He's always done that, but he used to be able to deliver. At the end, there was a point and it was funny. Whereas too often now, Dave Chappelle, sometimes he's making good points, but the whole thing is just a statement. There's no real payoff.
Yeah.
But it's the in-shitification of everything. So that's the world we live in, people.
Everything's sort of like so many things. Yeah, in-shitification. It's a hell of a thing. Such a horrible trend. The sort of shit like shrinkflation.
Yep.
Like which is the practice of keeping things the same price, and but lowering either the quantity or the quality that the consumer is getting for that price.
Now we actually get higher price and smaller shit.
Yeah.
I feel like if you don't know what shrinkflation is, all I would say to you that is a Greggs sausage roll. It's more expensive now and it's smaller.
Really?
So,
I've never once in my life had a Greggs sausage roll. So.
Well, you're not. Now you're not. You were missing out. We made going way back to a topic we started with at Lyman. Lots of international students go there. By the way, sorry, I never feel like I cleared up what that is. At Model UN, you essentially are role-playing the role of a diplomat at a kind of UN committee. So for me, it was on withdrawing from NATO because, it's a topic based on America's current stuff, and I was representing the United States of America, and you have 25 other people there, all from different unis around the world. Anyway, on one of the breaks, we took some internationals to go get Greggs, and we were like, "Oh yeah, you got to do it. You're in the UK." They were pissed off.
With the quality of it,
quite annoyed that we had in their words, wasted their lunch because we had made them walk 10 minutes and then spend kind of central London prices, which I was unaware of. But the Greggs near King's College does cost more than your average Greggs.
Really?
It's like nearly £2 nearly for a sausage roll, which is mad. But it was fun. I wasn't really at fault. I wasn't directing the plan. So,
well, you did.
I was happy to go along to Greg's.
Can we pull up the clip where you said that you were in charge of the Sussex people?
I was in charge of the Sussex people. So on the technicality, these are the internationals. I was the Sussex people. I didn't do a great job, to be fair. I kept everyone alive. We got to everything on time, but we did not.
If anything,
collectively won no awards, so I did not represent.
Well, was your job at Lyman logistics, or was it supposed to be as a coach?
No. So officially speaking, it was logistics, but our former guy who had the same role was a lot better at it all than I was. Well, not I guess at logistics because I got everyone there and all the rest, but in terms of he kind of ran some training sessions that he just knew more. Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't start MUN until I came to university. This guy was like he'd been doing it through high school, so there was definitely an information gap there. So there was a bit of a drop off.
Yeah.
Between but he was great at his job. I was decent. And next year they got someone new because
you're graduating.
Yeah, because I'm out of there. The whole committee, in fact, is fresh.
Damn.
next year. So it's going to be. It's a
Is
new
that
leaf.
standard or?
That is not. It's not the standard. We've had the same president for nearly 3 years now, I think. He's does a great job of it. So it's a shame he's going, but yeah, it's not the standard to have a completely fresh faces. And these people who work, they're not even getting promotions within committee. Just straight out new people. But come along to MUM, people. It's great fun. Kind of have to do that shout out.
Yeah.
Whilst I'm here.
Well, it's good you're doing the shout out now because we are approaching the end of our time.
Okay. Any other last? I don't know. Should we reel off? For those who don't know, me and Alex travelled to Albania once together, and we had.
I feel like that's.
I just worry that you've let down the audience because the caption for my name was an international man, and our conversation hasn't really left.
Maybe I shouldn't have used the word international. I was meaning to more say that as in worldly.
Well, okay.
Rather than international in terms of places you've been, which I believe I would trump you on.
Definitely.
But international is in terms of you're smart.
That's fair.
I hope. Unless you've been managing to fool me for what is now 3 years.
Well, yeah, life is it's all an illusion, but perhaps. But all this tells me is there might need to be on season 3, maybe there will need to be a part 2 to this.
Perhaps.
One day, once you exhaust. I know you know about 7 million people on campus, so I'm sure you have a long list to exhaust.
Man, I realised the other day. I looked at like the term dates for next year and like everything like that, and I'm like, fuck. And then the fact that I'm gonna have a few special episodes over the summer. So stay tuned for that announcement when that comes. Probably in like June. But when I end the show, I'll be on episode 38, which is a hell of a high number. And then I'm like, fuck, do I know enough people to do that? And the answer is kind of.
Okay. You can always. There's always a couple of reruns you can.
There's always reruns. Yeah, I've been trying to avoid it so far.
You can get me on.
Because I haven't needed to.
You need to do like a stupid one. You need to.
I've already done one really shit episode. I don't plan. Well, I've done 2 really shit episodes.
No, not a shit. Just a few. I don't know. Some. Like I liked your top 10 list of things you hate. I don't know. A bit more, maybe
getting
a whole
more into
episode
like into the casual conversation. Great. Well, I think that is I think that's a sign that various intelligence services around the world are zeroing in on our location to take us off the air.
Those who will not be named they've been searching me for a long time. I got cut off the other day on the road. I know who was responsible. Let's
just say I have an alibi for the assassination of JF Kennedy. Do you?
My god,
Jesus, that sucks.
Actually, you all know who killed Charlie Kirk. I'm gonna leave you with that. You can see what they're doing to my voice.
Okay, well, thank you all very much for tuning in. This has been the Deep End episode 14, actually.
And I feel like we, especially towards the end here, we've really kind of jumped off the deep end. So hopefully we've lived up.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Alex Muller.
I'm Solomon Udu-Smith. And this has been the Deep End.
Yeah. Bye-bye.